Gibbons, Devin Travis at second base, Jose Bautista right field, Josh Donaldson third base, Edwin Encarnacion DH. Russell Martin catcher, Melvin Upton Jr. left field, Troy Tulowitzki shortstop, Justin Smoke first base, Kevin Pillar center field, Jay Happ the pitcher. And Travis is ready to go. There's strike one on the corner for Mike Fiers. Todd Tichenor is the home plate umpire. Travis with a .279 batting average has 7 homers, 26 runs batted in, 3 hits in this series. That's not a grade A breaking ball there from Mike Fiers, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. He's been searching for that curveball much of this year. On the corner, and it's 1-2. But early, that can often be the case for a starting pitcher. He's trying to establish things right out of the gate. There's a better curve, and it's 1-2. You know, we expect seeing a major league game and a major league pitcher, everything to be perfect from that first pitch.
Yeah, that's how baseball's played, right?
Ideally, yes. And there's been that warm-up period out of the bullpen, so quite often things can feel great there and not be the same on the mound. And the curveball again, tap foul, but when his curve is working, he is very dynamic, Plummer.
Yeah, he really can be, and what I like to see too is he's able to bounce back with a couple of fastballs to get back in this count early on. So if he can stay on the edges with that fastball, and Bart talked about it, how with all these right-handers in there, if he could get inside a little bit, it'd be nice too.
Out to left center field. That's hit well by Travis. That bangs off the base of the wall. Marisnick will pick it up and get it back into Carlos Correa. Leadoff double for Travis. That's his 14th 2-base hit.
Strike zone's going to be brought to you by MD Anderson. Talked about getting inside, but I think with 2 strikes, you'd like to see that fastball located a little bit more on that inside corner, maybe off the plate a little bit to get back to the breaking ball. But Travis up to the challenge. Got the head out nicely on that.
He's aboard, and Jose Bautista follows. The right fielder hit a homer number 300 in game 2 of this series. And he fouls that one for strike 1. Bautista then connected for number 301 last night. .222, 15 homers, 45 runs batted in, 3 hits for him in the series. It's 1-1. Fiers is making his 2nd career start against the Blue Jays. He also has 1 relief appearance. He pitched a dandy of a game August 19th, 2014, beating Toronto 6-2, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. It's 2-1. Last night, Toronto won 3-1 to pull ahead in this 4-game series, 2 games to 1. Blue Jays won 2-1 Tuesday night after the Astros 14-inning 2-1 win Monday night. That's in for a strike. It's 2-2.
Good location. Very nice.
Toronto's in 2nd place, 1 game behind front-running Baltimore in the AL East. Baltimore trails Texas 2-0 after 4. That's upstairs. 3-2. Well, the way Evan Gattis came out of that chute, looked like he wasn't too sure that was going to be a curveball, Blummer.
Yeah, that's got to be tough when you see a breaking ball out of the pitcher's hand that high in the zone. There is a chance it breaks down, but I'm sure the panic as a catcher when you see that ball shoot out of the pitcher's hand can't be good.
It looked like that was panic personified there, but he caught it. Yeah, that's not an easy feeling.
Well, Ash has commented too. That's probably one of the toughest pitches to get to because you're down in that crouch and then you got to shoot out of your stance and kind of guess where that ball is going to end up.
That's laced to center field. Marisnick backing on it, and he gets there on the warning track. Travis tags and goes to 3rd on a well hit out number 1, but Marisnick played it beautifully. Now runner at 3rd, 1 down for Donaldson. Boy, if he doesn't get his shoulders turned right away, that's deep trouble.
Yeah, you can see it right there. Did a great job. That drop step with the right foot allowed him to open up those hips and get back there and track this down. But Jake Marisnick is turning into one of those center fielders. As a hitter, you drive it out there like Batista did. Got all the hope in the world, and then they're quickly dashed with the route he takes.
Yes, they are. Now Josh Donaldson with the Astros playing the infield back. He had a big night last night with 2 opposite field home runs. That's in for strike 1 to Donaldson. 299, 27 homers, 76 runs batted in, 3 for 9 in this series. He leads the league in runs scored with 89, making a strong bid to repeat as the MVP. Curveball just off the plate evens the count at 1-1. Encarnacion's on deck. Minute Maid Park has been a great venue for Mike Fiers. He is 7-2 here with a 2.88 ERA since joining the Astros. Ground ball, and that's backhanded by Alex Bregman, and the throw to Tyler White with a run scoring makes it 1-0. Donaldson gets RBI number 77. Travis scoring on the ground out.
It's a good at bat for an MVP candidate. Run around third base, less than 2 outs. Infield is playing back. Doesn't give away the at bat, but uses the at bat, even though he makes an out, to drive in a run.
RBI number 77 for him. Encarnacion's the batter. Grounded foul, strike 1. As you could see on that replay, Bregman, after he made the pickup, did glance home. Third base, a pretty new position for him. 1-1.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing it long, but he's been playing it very well.
Sure has. 265, 29 homers, 90 runs batted in to lead the majors for Encarnacion. Cranks a pop up. Here's Tyler White coming over, and it's out of play for a 1-2 count. Fiers has thrown his changeup 20% of the time this year. That was the 18th. Well, he's allowed 17 home runs this year. You saw the home run rate there on that graphic. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He gives up a first inning run here, and this Toronto lineup does present quite a challenge with 525 runs scored this season. That curve stays up, and it's 3-2. That's the first run the Blue Jays have scored in this series that was not on a homer. Tap foul. They had scored 6 runs in the first 3 games, all on solo home runs. Very unusual series. So the total runs in the 3 games before tonight, total of 10. Toronto 6 runs, Houston 4 runs in the first 3 games, and tons of strikeouts. Fly ball out to left center field. Here's Marisnick going for it and taking care of out number 3. 1 run, 1 hit. We go to the bottom of the first. 1-0 Blue Jays. Jay Hinch, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. George Springer leads it off in right field. It's Alex Bregman at third base. Jose Altuve at second. Carlos Correa at short. Evan Gattis as a catching batting fifth. The DH is Carlos Gomez. With left fielder Colby Rasmus, first baseman Tyler White, center fielder Jake Marisnick.
Jay Happ for the Toronto Blue Jays, left-hander. We know the issues that the Houston Astros have against left-handers, hitting .234 as a team. It's going to be a tough matchup because Jay Happ's had himself a pretty good year. Those 14 wins are tied for the first in the American League. Lefty's having a tough time. Righty's having a tougher time. Comes at you with a good fastball slider mix. Predominantly those two pitches coming after you. Last outing, he threw close to 88% fastballs, I think it said. So that is a heavy dose of fastball and much more aggressive than we remember him as an ex-Astro.
George Springer gets it started. Springer takes, and there's strike one. Happ is 33 years old, from Spring Valley, Illinois. He went to Northwestern University. .258 for George, 22 homers, 60 runs batted in, 2 hits in the series. Had a leadoff double in the first last night, but the Astros couldn't get him home. Happ has an 8-game winning streak, and he pitched Toronto into first place on Saturday, beating Baltimore. That was the first time the Blue Jays had been in the AL East lead since early April. Now they're a game behind, but Baltimore's losing. Springer strikes out.
Jay Happ's aggressive in the zone.
He was 4-0 in the month of July with a 1.44 ERA.
Good pitch to hit, though. 2 strikes.
Alex Bregman got the night off last night to work on his hitting. And there's strike one. He is 1 for 32, making some adjustments at the plate. 0 for 10 in this series. Bregman's 0 for his last 13 overall. Punches it out on a line, and it's caught by Travis. 2 outs. No luck for Bregman there.
Out front. Still, you got to try and find that open space out there. It's tough to do sometimes.
Jose Altuve leads the majors with a .359 batting average, has 19 homers, a career high, 64 runs batted in, 6 for 14 with a homer in this series for Altuve. Altuve puts it in the air toward the right field line. Bautista with the catch to end a very quick first for Jay Happ. 6 pitches, 1-0 Toronto. Down here in Minute Maid Park have turned it into a launching pad, but again, as Brownie was talking about,
All solo home runs, and we heard Mike Stanton talking about it. An ex-pitcher in the big leagues understands that solo home runs should not beat a ball club. But there is a good look at all of those home runs. Some pitches missing over the middle of the plate into some of these hot zones that we've seen. There's a Batista getting extended. And again, Josh Donaldson got 2 pitches in the same spot and luckily drove him over the wall for himself.
Now there's another high one. Ball 1 to Russell Martin. 238, 8 homers, 40 runs batted in, 3 hits in this series for Martin. He had 2 of those last night. Off-speed pitch drops in, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a good change-up split finger from Mike Fiers.
Showing bunt. Martin takes the ball, and it's 2-1. Blue Jays had lost 8 consecutive games here at Minute Maid Park until turning things around, winning 2-1 Tuesday night. Then they stacked another win on top of that one last night, 3-1. In the air, and here's Gaddis coming over for a look near the on-deck circle. Can't get there, right up against the TV camera. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Tough play.
Cameraman Mike Brady picks the ball up and tosses it to a kid.
There's a good look at it on Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm. And if you want to get up close and personal with Oso Blanco, you get your chance right now.
There you have it. Chest protector right in your grill. Curveball got him looking. Now that is a fine breaking pitch. That's the 51st strikeout of a Toronto Blue Jay in this series.
Pretty impressive.
Astros had 53 strikeouts in a series against Milwaukee, a 4-game series. And that is their club record for a 4-game set. Upton with a .251 average has 16 homers, 45 runs batted in, taking strike 1 there. Marisnick cruises over to right center. 2 down.
What's interesting about watching Jake out there in center field is that he gets to spots, gets there, gets planted, gets set, makes the play. You know a ball is truly hit well if you get Jake Marisnick to make those catches on the run. Because if he has a chance, he's going to get to that spot, plant himself, and make the play.
He's graceful. It's the way they say Joe DiMaggio used to do it, Blummer.
It's not a bad way to do it.
Troy Tulowitzki has been out this whole series with a chip fracture right on the end of his right thumb. He was hit by a pitch. 243, 18 homers, 52 runs batted in. It's got to be painful to play with that injury. In for a strike. 1-1. Tulowitzki, one of the top offensive shortstops around. That thumb injury might affect his throwing. The curveball is inconsistent for Mike. He keeps going back to it. It's 2-1.
And sometimes the pitchers will go back to that pitch trying to get the feel for it. Trying to make that adjustment to make it better. Get that feel.
3-1. Earlier, Tulowitzki went on the disabled list this season with a right quad injury. Last year, he hit 17 homers, drove in 70 runs in a season divided between Colorado and Toronto. Backhanded, Correa fires him out. Excellent play. 1-2-3 second for Fiers. 1-0 Toronto.
Folks out in Budweiser patio having a good time. Blue Jays on top of the Astros, 1-0. We'll kick off your weekends at every Friday night home game with the best fireworks show in town. An 80s themed fireworks spectacular is on tap tomorrow night. For more information, go to astros.com/fireworks, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Bart. Look forward to that one tomorrow night with the Rangers here. Big weekend coming up. Carlos Correa, 1-0 Blue Jays, leads off the home second. Strike for Jay Happ, moving his fastball around. He's been very successful this year to the tune of 14-3, a 3.16, 269 for Carlos, 15 homers. He's driven in 68. 1-1, and just a very improved pitcher since Jay Happ was here with the Houston Astros.
Yeah, definitely seen a certain level of aggressiveness from him with that fastball in the zone. But again, we talked to their radio analyst Joe Siddall, a teammate of mine in AAA in '97, said that slider's been that much more effective this year too.
There's a running catch by Bautista in right. Excellent play on a well hit Correa ball for out number one.
It was. Correa's had a tough series. He's actually one of the few Astros that's actually been making pretty good contact throughout the series. Just nothing to show for it because guys are making plays like this. It's got to be a huge bonus for the Blue Jays to see Bautista moving around that well.
He had the toe injury and was on the disabled list. Speared that one on the run. Evan Gattis follows. Gattis fouls it back. Jay Happ began his career with the Phillies, the third-round pick of the Phils in '04. Against the Astros, lifetime, he's 3-1 with a 3.50 ERA. Last year he went 1-1 against Houston. Bounces that one. 1-1. He was a lot more tentative with the Astros than he has been this year with Toronto. Signed as a free agent, 3 years, $36 million back in December. Foul back, and he's part of an excellent rotation. A rotation with the best ERA, 3.63 among American League starting rotations. 49 wins, 29 losses for the Blue Jays starters. And they have amassed 686 innings. That leads the American League. Gattis whiffs. Second strikeout for Happ.
Got a chance. We're going to look at our Lexus defensive rankings. And that numeric tally on the left is due to statistical information brought to us by Stats Inc. On the right, my own personal opinion as far as red light, green light, yellow light, who you're going to run on. Saw a good idea that Bautista's getting that athleticism back. He also has a pretty good arm. Kevin Pillar is rangy and all over the place, aggressive to the baseball. If I had a chance, I'd test Melvin Upton.
Strike to Carlos Gomez, 5-game hitting streak for Gomez. He's been nursing a strained right hamstring, 1 for 4 in this series, 217 for the season. Breaking pitch from Happ misses, and it's 1-1. Gomez is 5 for 18 against Happ with 2 runs batted in. That's called strike 2.
It was a good changeup. It was a great location, but I don't feel that was a strike. We'll take a look at it.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, that's plenty low, huh?
Yeah. Down on one knee, Gomez fouls it. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Astros really in the offensive doldrums. Their 5 through 9 hitters have gone through a 6 for 60 stretch coming into this game. Happ gets punch out number 3. He's retired 6 in a row and leads 1-0 through 2.
Blue Jays are leading 1-0 over the Houston Astros, and it's time to play, which is brought to you by Toyota. Let's talk a little bit about Alex Bregman on the other side of the baseball. Been scuffling on the offensive side, but what I like to see is the youngster is not taking it out on that defensive side, showing a lot of athleticism, playing relatively new position at third base, but we've seen some good footwork, very accurate throws, a very strong throw from third base, but for what he's lacked on offense, he's done a very good job down there at third base.
Justin Smoak fouls it. There's strike one, leading off the third inning. 227, 12 homers, 27 runs batted in. Bregman now out where the shortstop often plays in the shift. He has moved around. Smoak takes it, and it's 1-1. 0 for 6 in this series. He started that first game of the series that went 14 innings Monday night. John Gibbons, who's from San Antonio, said he's had the chance to see a lot of family and friends during this series. He talked about the fact that the Blue Jays snapped that 8-game losing streak here after losing Monday night. He said the Blue Jays at one point had lost 19 in a row at Yankee Stadium before they snapped that one. And for strike three. Second punch out for Fiers. Kevin Pillar comes up. We were talking about WAR last night, wins above replacement. Pillar 1 for 13 in this series, has 7 homers, 45 runs batted in. Pillar is one of the top defensive center fielders around, but for some reason he doesn't get credit for it in defensive WAR rankings. Popped up. Tyler White comes in. Altuve calls him off. What Altuve wants, Altuve gets. 2 down.
You heard us talking about WAR, so he wants more opportunities to get that number up.
Yeah, he does. And for some reason, the defensive WAR rankers don't think that Kevin Pillar is that good, but we were hearing from the Toronto media folks that he was in the top 3 defensive center fielders in the American League last year, along with Mike Trout and Kevin Kiermaier.
You have a tough time arguing against that. I think he's great in center field too.
Strike to Devin Travis. He likes to talk hitting with Jose Altuve. Travis is 5'9", Altuve is 5'6". They talk about how to approach things. Good curve makes it 0-2. And Travis finds Altuve to be inspirational as far as what he's been able to do, coming from a non-drafted background, signing as a free agent for a relatively small bonus. So Travis loves to get together with Altuve. Travis was a 13th round pick himself in 2012 from Florida, West Palm Beach. I think that's what is very alluring and attractive to a lot of baseball fans. Little guys can excel in this sport.
Yeah, it's been pretty well documented that you can be pretty much any shape and size. I know they're much more athletic these days than in decades previous, but yeah, it really doesn't matter. If you have something to bring to the table to help your ball club win, they'll take you any size, height, or shape.
Dude, that's borderline blummer.
Tell you what, that pitch right there, the pitch before that we just showed in the strike zone a couple days previous, would have been an easy strike call.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Astros are going after that strikeout record in a 4-game series. 2 tonight for Fiers gives them 52. They're 1 away from tying their best 4-game series ever, 53 against Milwaukee in 01. Foul ball there. A club record for strikeouts in a series. There's a kind of a footnote on this. When it was a 5-game series in July of '95 against San Diego, 57 strikeouts, but that wouldn't be a fair comparison with a 4-game series. And how many 5-game series have you ever heard of anyway?
Not too many.
Yeah.
Not without a makeup doubleheader mixed in.
Exactly. Struck him out. Now Fiers is rolling. He's retired 9 in a row after that leadoff double, and it's 1-0 Blue Jays.
on top of the Astros 1-0. Fans, you can watch every out-of-market game live in high definition on over 400 supported devices with MLB.TV Premium, which includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for more details. Colby Rasmus leading it off for the Astros here in the bottom of the third. A.J. Hinch telling us before today's game that they are all confident that Colby is going to work his way out of what is now an 0-for-20 slump. He said Colby's been through these things before, but this one is particularly long and really trying Colby's patience. And A.J. was basically asked, well, how long do you let him go before he starts losing some playing time? And A.J., paraphrasing here, basically said, lose playing time to whom? I mean, you guys have just talked about the struggles in the 5 through 9 spot in the batting order, and A.J. said he continues to play great defense in left and center field, throwing out base runners. So they're hopeful that Colby's going to work his way out of this, maybe starting right now.
0-for-13 this series, 0 for his last 20, as Bart mentioned. Happ throws, and it's a strike call, 1-1. People are going to be wondering, why is he playing against a lefty when he's 0 for his last 20? Actually, left-handed hitters are hitting a little bit better against Happ than right-handed hitters. And Colby's had 4 career hits against him and an RBI and 18 at-bats.
Well, and to Bart's point, look who's on the bench for the Houston Astros. You've got switch hitting Marwin Gonzalez, who's not playing because his right hand still hurts to swing right-handed. Preston Tucker's the only other outfielder, and he hits left-handed, and his numbers aren't exactly off the charts.
2-2. We did have a question on Twitter about why Marwin is not in the lineup, and you just gave the answer to that. However, you probably will see him in the lineup tomorrow night against a lefty, Martin Perez of Texas. AJ just wanted to give him one more day on that right hand. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. White and Marisnick to follow. Happ has retired the first 6. Fiers has now retired 9 in a row. Both these pitchers hitting their stride early here. Another foul ball keeps Colby in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Astros have lost 7 of their last 9. They're 3 games back in the wild card race. They're 5.5 behind front-running Texas. The Rangers are leading 4-3 at Baltimore. Baltimore batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. In the air foul. The Rangers have lost the last couple of nights, as have the Astros. So that 5.5 game lead has stayed right there for Texas. The Astros are 1-9 against the Rangers, 0-3 at Minute Maid Park. 2 series remaining here with Texas, and it all starts tomorrow night. Rasmus fouls it again. It'll be Dallas Keuchel and Martin Perez tomorrow night at 7:10 in game 1 of the 3-game set. Saturday a 6:10 start for Doug Fister and Lucas Harrell. Sunday at 1:10. Joe Musgrove makes his first major league start against Yu Darvish. Colby rounds to smoke. 7 straight for Happ. Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score. We've been talking about the 5 through 9 hitters. They've hit 249 in the Astros wins, 169 in their losses, with a low slugging percentage of 269 in those losses.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, those numbers on the right, you can definitely tell that they need a little bit of help in that bottom part of the order. When they do show up, they have a tendency to do a little bit better and help out those guys at the top of the order.
Tyler White.
When it is bad, it is bad.
It's pretty bad. There is ball 1. White is 1 for 5 in this series. So, you know, knowing how long you've been around baseball, you come to the park, when those numbers are staring you in the face, you say, this is bound to turn tonight, right?
You think the odds would be in your favor, yes. But then you step out, realize that you're facing a guy that's got a pretty good record, feeling pretty comfortable on the mound, and starts painting the corners on you, and that battle becomes a little bit tougher.
Yeah, so you're going to make those numbers turn around against a guy with an 8-game winning streak, who's 14-3 with a 3.16. 2-1. But maybe your pitcher holds their team at bay, and you scratch out a few runs and win it that way.
You're kind of hoping that that walk-off win that the Astros had in that 14-inning game would kind of, propel them or create some kind of confidence, but got to face Marco Estrada the next day and shut you down.
There's a positive. Single to right field. It's juggled, but Bautista regains control. First base runner of the night for Houston. A single for Tyler White.
Good piece of hitting down and away. That's finally one of those fastballs the Astros stayed on. Just punch it the other way. It's actually a pretty good swing from Tyler.
I think he hits the pitch away very well.
Well, he opens up. That was a good piece of hitting. Hopefully that's the start of some good things for the Houston Astros. And guess what? He's hitting in that 8-hole, helping out a little bit.
Yep. Jake Marisnick tries to follow up on that. Donaldson moves in. He's even with a bag at third. Jake takes. There is strike one from Happ, moving inside with the pitch. 223, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in, 2 for 6 in this series. When Jay Happ pitched here, he did not pitch inside on right-handed hitters much at all. He's obviously grown quite a bit in his command and his approach. He's really attacking the strike zone now, whereas he was pretty defensive about reaching that strike zone when he was here.
Well, it's tough when you're younger and you're trying to pitch away from contact. And I think, like you said, Jay Happ's grown up a little bit, figured out his stuff. He's got a pretty consistent release point on that fastball, and he's pounding the zone with it. But when you get over that fear of pitching to contact and allow your defense to go out there and help you out a little bit, you're going to benefit.
One ball, 2 strikes to Marisnick. Jay was traded to Houston from Philadelphia for Roy Oswalt in July of 2010. He had a rough year here in 2011, 6-15 with a 5.35 ERA. He walked 83 in 156 innings. That's one thing that's different about him now. He has 40 walks in 134 innings this year.
There you go. Command and confidence.
The Astros moved him on to Toronto in another July deal. This 2 years after they got him, 2012. And Joe Musgrove was a part of the return in that trade. We'll see him on Sunday against Texas. Marisnick looks at it, and it's a full count. Jake has walked 8 times this season. Pretty aggressive.
Get it ready, Jake.
When the Astros as a team are ahead in the count and put the ball in play, they're hitting .394, best in the majors. Ground ball, and diving is Donaldson from his knees. A throw to second, gets the force play on White for out number 2.
Tough break for Jake. That was a heck of a play from Josh Donaldson.
Looked like a hit off the bat, Blummer.
Sure did. Instead, just a lousy fielder's choice. Great jump, good footwork, laying out. Hesitated a little bit, but with Tyler White coming into second base, he had time.
Yeah, it looked as if maybe he didn't have a grip on the baseball, so he kind of double clutched on it, but he got that force play, and that was big for Toronto. George Springer struck out in the first inning. Ball 1 with Marisnick at first, having stolen 6 bases in 10 tries. That gives the Astros some good speed. Should Springer hit one in the gap. Fouled away. The 14 wins for Happ already is a career high for him. In 11 of his 21 starts, he's limited his opponent to 1 earned run or less. He throws over to first. Astros against left-handed starters at 114, and they've lost 19, and there's a lot of puzzlement about that. among the Houston uniforms. He's advertising to Marisnick that he's watching him carefully.
Russell Martin's had a tough time. 41 stolen bases against, only 6 caught. The advantage today is having that left-hander.
2-1. Happ really had not been behind any of the hitters in the first 2 innings. Tyler White got a single on a 2-1 count. Marisnick worked the count full. Now Springer is ahead. Happ's given up 15 homers this year. Good cut by George. 2-2. Last year Happ was with Seattle and he faced the Astros 3 times last year. Held them to 2 earned runs in both of his starts at Safeco Field, but at Minute Maid he gave up 6 earned runs in 6 innings, got a no decision, and a 7-6 loss. Snap throw to first in the dirt. Smoke is able to dig it out, and the count runs to 3-2 now. Happ threw first pitch strikes to each of the first 6 batters in the game, retired all of them. Since then he's 1 for 4 in first pitch strikes. Certainly been a pitcher dominated series, Plummer.
Yeah, it absolutely has, and you can tell by the final scores that we've seen. Pretty interesting to see the Blue Jays finally score a run without hitting a home run in that first inning.
Foul back by Springer, and the count remains full.
Just looks like the Astro hitters are picking up the baseball light out of the hand of Jay Happ. Because 91-92 doesn't normally beat a guy like Springer. Now he's fighting some pitches off.
Yeah.
Recognizing the off speed late there, kind of got jammed, but fought it off a little bit in a 2-strike count, which is a good thing.
This will be his 25th pitch of the inning. And he gets a strikeout with it. Number 4 of the night. No runs, a hit, and a man left after 3. 1-0 Toronto.
Tonight, and our question is one that is a tough judgment call for managers and general managers. How would you handle a star rookie struggling at the plate? A, bench him, B, platoon him, C, play him every day, or D, send him down to the minors? Head over to the @RootSportsSW Twitter page to vote in the poll now. It's tough when managers have to, and general managers have to juggle what's best for the team and what's best for the player, guys.
Yep, that's part of the difficult in their job, really the difficult part of their job. Swing and a miss by Bautista. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of psychology in that thought process there. Is the kid tough enough to where you can throw him out there, let him struggle and make the adjustment, or is he one of those guys you don't want to ruin his confidence and you send him down?
Sure. 1-2 on the curveball to Bautista with Donaldson and Encarnacion to follow. That makes it 2-2. The Blue Jays are second in home runs in the American League, but they're also striking out a lot, as you have seen in this series. They've already set a record for strikeouts in a 4-game series, even before this game started. Club record, that is. 3-2 now for Fiers. Toronto hitters have struck out 14 times in back-to-back games, and that's the second time that's happened this year. They've had 10 strikeouts in each of their last 5 games. That ties a club record. Woo. In for strike 3. Bautista caught looking. He does a little whirl around, looks back at Todd Tichenor, makes a comment or two. Obviously very displeased.
Big first strike out of this inning for Mike Fiers, and you can see why Jose Bautista's a little upset, realizing that pitch didn't come back.
Josh Donaldson had the RBI on a ground ball. That one slips on Fiers. Ball 1. Blue Jays currently have the 7th best winning percentage in the majors, .565. Playoff team last year. 1 ball, 1 strike. And with grand designs again this season for John Gibbons' club. They have the best winning road percentage in the American League with a 29-23 road record. Curve makes it 1-2. A lot to like about this Toronto club, Lumber.
Their bullpen's been good. Just got word too, read about it today, about Aaron Sanchez. A lot of talk about him moving into that bullpen, but they've decided to go with a 6-man rotation, keep him in the rotation, but give him an extra day off in between.
He used to start Saturday night at Kansas City. Off the plate, 2-2. And the newcomer to that 6-man rotation is Francisco Liriano, a lefty who will start tomorrow night at Kansas City in his Blue Jay debut. It's a solid starting pitching group for them. And the hitters, the way they can take the ball deep, can really excite the Rogers Center crowds. And they have had big ones this year. We'll be there soon, Blummer.
Extremely soon. I got enough time to go home and repack.
If people were thinking the Minnesota Twins might be the easy spot in the Astros schedule the next 2 weeks, I want to rethink that. Although the Twins did lose today at Cleveland 9-2, they had bashed the Indians in the first 3 games of that 4-game series. And Max Kepler is a German machine. Struck him out looking. That's 5 now for Fiers.
Good job of setting him up. Show your support for our Cy Young winner by joining us tomorrow night in Keuchel's Corner, presented by Houston Methodist. You'll get a ticket, beard, and a Keuchel's Corner t-shirt. For more information, visit astros.com/Keuchel's Corner or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Yeah, those are newly designed t-shirts now, not the ones that have been given out earlier. Encarnacion takes ball 1. And then, of course, Dallas Keuchel and Mike Scott combining on pregame festivities Saturday night, along with Alan Ashby. We'll be back at the microphone tomorrow night. Julia returns tomorrow night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big weekend coming up. Hope you have your tickets already. Backhanded Bregman. Good throw for a 1-2-3-4 for Fiers, who was set down 12 in a row, 1-0 Toronto.
product is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
1-0 Blue Jays. They stretched out the early run, and they got it on a ground out in the first inning by Donaldson after a double by Travis, leading off this game. Total of 2 hits in this ball game. That fits the theme of the series. Alex Bregman lined out to second in the first inning. Jay Happ gets a corner call. There's strike one. Anthony Lewis wants an update on Valbuena. Valbuena's not doing much right now, just resting the hamstring. He's on the 15-day disabled list. That's the only update we have for you. 1-1.
He was cheering pretty good last night, we saw.
Yeah, he was a good cheerleader.
A couple of good rally caps. It's a pretty good update.
2 balls and a strike. It's been such a weird time. This club has been generally very healthy all season long until the last few days. Valbuena went on the DL. Luke Gregerson and now Lance McCullers. Boom, 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 all within a few days. Out to center field. Pilar. 1 out.
Going to take a look at our Ford spray chart. We got Jose Altuve coming up. This is a ridiculous number. He likes the fastball. He hunts the fastball. He crushes the fastball. That .411 batting average is well above most in the major leagues. That's remarkable. I wish I could say more, but just drink that in and realize that Jose Altuve is an extremely good hitter, and he's an extremely good hitter against the fastball.
981 hits. It's getting exciting with anticipation for number 1,000, Blummer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And well deserved too.
These home fans deserve that, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Out toward the center fielder Pilar, moving over toward left center field. 2 outs. We have a little problem though. He's 19 away. The remainder of tonight's game, 3 more games this weekend, and then a 7-game road trip.
Yeah, the way he's been going on the road, you would assume he gets those hits on the road. I mean, he's been getting them in large bunches when he puts on that gray uniform. I saw something today hitting over 100 points better on the road.
Yes.
Granted, he's still hitting 300 at home.
Carlos Correa, line to right field, first time up. One hopper, Donaldson. It goes quickly in the 4th. 6 pitches for Happ after 4. 1-0 Toronto. Yoenis Cespedes is on the 15-day disabled list. He better not be playing golf every day, Blummer. Clayton Kershaw's on the 60-day DL. Lower back problems. Andrew McCutchen benched the last 3 games. Tommy John surgery for Nick Tropiano, former Astro farmhand.
Yeah, that's terrible news for Nick Tropiano. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Those are some big losses. And I hope that quad injury doesn't cut into the handicap Yoenis has been working on.
Russell Martin struck out in the second inning. Curve, and Mike Fiers keeps coming back to it. It's looking good a bigger percentage of the time as this game progresses. 1 ball, 1 strike. With his stuff and his rather complex, unorthodox delivery, that overhand curve can really help him a lot. The way he kind of tilts upward with that left elbow and then comes over the top with it. Can be difficult for the hitter to pick that up.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that delivery.
Yeah. Rolled up the middle. Here's Correa, far to his left. Wow. Spins. High throw. Safe at first. The ball kicks back out toward Tyler White. And Martin is credited with an infield hit.
Thought that was a pretty spectacular play just to get a glove on that ball.
It really was. He risked an extra base on an error had it gone out of play, but this was fun to watch.
Gosh, just a little bit on that release point from Carlos Correa. Did a great job, maybe overextending, and that's why that ball jumped out of his hand the way it did, because unable to make that full 360 rotation. But like you said, maybe a couple inches away from going in the dugout. But I love the effort.
You bet. Melvin Upton Jr. is the batter. That was a good replay showing you how little time he had for the transfer and the throw. There's strike 1. When you go out and take ground balls before a game, do you want a lot of tough chances or do you want just routine stuff?
You do a lot of the routine early on. I know that when you finally get loose a little bit, you have somebody that can handle the fungo a little bit when they're hitting you ground balls. You like to test yourself because you will go to the backhand side, and then you like to take, 5 or 6 up the middle going in that direction. Actually saw AJ Hinch the other day working with Carlos Correa with ground balls, and he said that Carlos actually likes to finish with that ground ball up the middle just like that. So I wonder if there's something in that. But I was lucky enough, obviously, to play with Adam Everett here, who was a very good fundamental shortstop. And then I went to San Diego, and I got to play with a guy named Khalil Green.
Oh, he was
who I
good.
thought was a phenomenal talent.
He was.
Not nearly as consistent as Adam, but as far as spectacular plays,
yeah.
Khalil Green could make it happen. And Khalil Green was one of the few guys I worked out with in my years in the big leagues who actually practiced making some of those more acrobatic plays, because he was very good at getting his body in position, not only to make the catch, but to turn around and make the throw, which I thought was interesting. And the worst part about it, or maybe it was funny to other teams, but I would go out there and try and emulate what he was doing and try and, copy what he was going out there and doing. It didn't end so well. He'd be completely under control, throw a dart over to first base. I'd have elbows and knees flying all over the place, and the ball would end up, up against the stands.
He was a lot smaller guy than you.
Yeah, he was built a little more stocky, but a great athlete.
Upton strikes out. That's 6 for Fiers. Troy Tulowitzki grounded out in the second inning. Well, after he did so well in Colorado, Trevor Story came along this year. Now he's out for the season with an injury. Really tough news for Rockies fans when they heard about that, because Story was one of the real encouraging parts of the Rockies season, and they have been far better than a lot of people thought they would. They're a game over 500 right now.
Yeah, he's had an incredible season. I'm a little disappointed just as a fan of baseball to see what he could have done finishing out the season.
Sure. As for Tulo, he was very shocked by that trade that sent him to Toronto, as you recall, last year. Certainly worked out, though, as he got to go to postseason. No balls, 2 strikes. He was the 7th player drafted in the 05 draft. Went to Long Beach State. He had a homer in the division series and a homer and 7 runs batted in the league championship series last year for Toronto. This one gets by Gaddis upstairs. Martin will advance on the wild pitch.
This is that pitch we talked about earlier in the game. It was a breaking ball that Evan Gaddis was able to get to, but that is a tough pitch for a catcher to get up, especially at that velocity.
Tulowitzki now has hit more than 200 homers in his career. And he's driven in more than 700 runs. Slugging shortstop. Martin was leaning a little bit toward third base. We talked about the fact last night he had been a pretty good base stealer in the past. Runs the bases hard.
Yeah, he was one of the faster catchers around, because I remember playing third base when I was with San Diego and he was with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You had to keep an eye on him because he would lay one down every once in a while, and then when he did get on first base, he'd sneak a bag every now and then.
Two balls, two strikes. All three games in this series have been determined by 2 or fewer runs. So 59 games for the Astros this year decided by 2 runs or less. Only 3 major league clubs have more close games than Houston. And another one going tonight. Line to left. That's a hit in front of Rasmus. Stop sign at third for Martin, and the throw comes in. Runners at first and third, 1 out for Smoke.
Good swing from Tulo. Hanging split finger up in the zone. Did a good job of keeping his hands back, barreling that up.
Luis Rivera, the third base coach, held Martin. The way Rasmus throws, and Colby has 12 outfield assists, and that ball was hit sharply. Colby had a good beat on it as he came in. That would have been risky to send him. Now here's Smoke with the infield shifting around. Smoke struck out in the third inning, looking. There's strike 1.
That was an awful strike.
Yeah,
but we'll take it.
Okay. Awful in what sense?
About 1.5 feet outside. Hit that same spot again.
The battery mates didn't mind it.
No, I don't mind it.
There's a swing, and it's 0-2 on Smoke. 12 of 17 first pitch strikes for Mike Fiers. That's way down there. Awful is a pretty good way to describe it. In terms of accuracy, anyway.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
Smoke had given up. He was headed for the bench. And it was called ball.
Was great.
Altuve immediately runs in.
Well, he's trying to keep Fiers in this game because it's not too. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but that is not too often that you see a hitter concede the strike and walk back to the dugout.
No. That is crazy. Altuve immediately ran into the mound after that call.
That pitch is 6 inches closer than that first pitch strike.
Oh boy.
That was awesome. What a game.
This one is a swing and a miss, and now here's a runner breaking for the plate, and he scores on the strikeout to make it 2-0 Toronto.
That was a wild at bat. Finished off by a wild pitch.
Strikeout, a wild pitch. Fiers really upset.
Well, he had the punch out. He gets the punch out here, but it takes a bad kick off the face mask of Evan Gaddis. And think about it, if Todd Tichenor punches out Smoke with the original strike that should have been, Russell Martin's still at third base.
Yep. Now 2-0, and it's Kevin Pillar. He popped to Altuve. Boy, this is a real test too for a club that may be a little down. 7 losses in the last 9 games, and just not scoring runs, striking out a lot. Now the other club scores its 2nd run of the night on a play involving a missed call earlier. No balls, 2 strikes, so it's a little bit bigger hill to climb tonight for the Astros.
Well, the way runs have been coming for the Astros, that 2-0 lead, it's a lot bigger than Towles Hill.
Yeah, and with Jay Happ on the mound, that is a challenge. Doesn't seem that way more often than not when a club is in a little bit of a spin, or maybe a lengthy spin, whatever. In baseball, it just a series of breaks, however you want to call it, events going against them, it gets more and more difficult.
Yeah, it does. And when you're going bad, you have to play that much more perfect on defense, and you have to get breaks. They're not getting either of those.
1-2. They've hit some line drives that have been caught tonight. That is a part of baseball. It just seems that those things do snowball a little bit more for a club that is really in need of a win in the worst way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball wide of third. Bregman diving for it.
Gotta love it. The kid laying out. Ball 6 or 7 feet foul. You got to applaud the effort.
Towering pop. Altuve moves over. And it's 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left. 2-0 Toronto.
Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. Most home runs in the last calendar year. So going all the way back to August 4th of last year. Evan Gattis, 27 bombs in those 365 days. Jose Altuve, 25, tied with George Springer. How about that?
Yeah, that's a different twist on things. Hadn't looked at it that way in a while.
That is interesting.
Gattis just happens to be the leadoff man. Home 5th inning. He struck out in the 2nd. Jay Happ moves 1 inside, ball 1. We had a question on Twitter. Are the umpires accountable? Yes, they are. They are graded. 2 balls, no strikes. Based on the way they're graded and then ranked at the end of the year, the guys at the top get the postseason assignments.
If there ever was a time to take a peek at the sheet or the video or the flash drive of their performance in this series, I'd be real curious to see what kind of grading they get, because it's been a series long, pretty large zone, and I think that it contributes a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit, to the low scoring in this series.
2-2. Happ has had 2 6-pitch innings, the first and the fourth. The Astros would like to make him work a little bit more. They extended him in the third, but only got 1 hit in that inning. They worked some 3-2 counts. Gattis fouls it back. Obviously a confident left-hander as he took the mound tonight on a very good team.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's under much stress out there.
Line drive, left field corner. Gattis will head for second base. That is double number 13 for Evan, leading it off here in the home fifth, down by 2.
It's a good way to create stress, get into scoring position to lead off the inning. Poorly located slider, and Evan Gattis takes advantage of it. Good to see. Good job of keeping the hands back and lacing this one. I think what's even better is he didn't get too quick on it, able to keep it fair.
Carlos Gomez gets the RBI chance. He struck out in the second inning. First Astro to reach second base, Gattis. And there's ball 1. That was interesting with the Mets and Yankees game last night. Mark Teixeira was on second, and the Mets pitcher felt that he was stealing signs and relaying them to the hitter.
Pitchers don't know everything.
Foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled off the right foot or ankle perhaps of Gomez.
That was off the back leg.
He's flexing his back leg.
Yeah.
So assuming, let's take a look.
Yeah, that bounced up and got him in the back knee.
He sure did. Colby Rasmus is on deck. Kevin Pillar shades toward right center field, and it's fouled away. 1-2. These 2 teams will meet in a 3-game set in Toronto on the next road trip. That'll be a week from tomorrow night at Rogers Center. Foul back with a good cut for Gomez. Texas is leading 5-3 at Baltimore as they go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Sam Dyson in the game for the Rangers. 2-2. Jonathan Lucroy hit his 14th homer of the year and his first as a Ranger tonight. Gomez strikes out. Number 5 for Happ. Here's his month of July. 4-0 with a 1.44 ERA for Jay Happ in the month.
Yeah, how about that opponent batting average? Well under 200. You can see right there going up against the strikeout happy Baltimore Orioles. We've seen that before. But good stuff.
That was the lowest mark by an American League starter in July. His teammate Sanchez was second at 1.59. Colby Rasmus grounded out to first baseman Smoke in the 3rd inning. Taking ball one. Colby trying to snap what is now an 0 for 21 stretch. Former Blue Jay is 0 for 14 against Toronto. Colby tops one foul, and it's 1-1.
I saw a tweet from Brian McTaggart, the MLB.com beat writer for the Houston Astros. Coming into this game, Colby was 3 for his last 63. So now 3 for his last 64, trying to break that right here and drive in a run.
That's an extended slump.
That really is.
He's had some problems along the way with an ear infection, and apparently will have to have surgery after the season. Fly ball heads for right field toward the line for Bautista. Evan Gattis will just draw a throw and head back for second on out number 2. Now it's up to Tyler White with 2 outs after the leadoff double. Now this is what happened last night in the first inning. George Springer led off with a double, and then the Astros had 3 shots to get him home, and he did not advance. But White will try to bring about a different result. He singled to right field on a 2-1 count back in the 3rd. White starting for the 5th time in the last 7 games since he was recalled from AAA. Player of the week for the first week in the season, and he went on a rampage. What a great start. 10 for 15. Line drive left field. Into the corner. Gattis will score. White into second base. It's 2-1. 9th double of the year for White. That's RBI number 21 for Tyler.
First AB, we saw him take a fastball away the other way. This AB gets that fastball in. Jay Happ trying to make the adjustment on him, but Tyler White up to the challenge. And how about the 8-hole hitter for the Houston Astros stepping up today? 2 hits and an RBI.
That's clutch too. 2 outs in the inning. Astros are on the board and looking for more with Jake Marisnick. He bounced into a force in the 3rd. Looked like he had a hit, but Josh Donaldson dived to his left and was able to make that throw for the force from his knees. That's strike 1 to Marisnick. Well, if they make it back-to-back hits with 2 outs by the 8 and 9 hitters, now things will have turned a little bit on that Houston bench.
Gosh, if Jake could get a base hit right here, turn that lineup over and get some of those horses in there, that'd be great.
In the dirt. 1-1. What a difference in a year for Jay Happ. A year ago at the end of July, his ERA was 4.64. And now it is a full run and a half lower than that for this season. '76 major league wins for Happ, 64 losses. 1-2 to Marisnick. Now he brings some deception with that delivery on the fastball. Fastball is averaging 92 for Jay, but it probably seems like a little bit faster than that to the hitter. It gets on him.
Yeah, it's easy cheese.
Yep. Happ gets a punch out. That's number 6. The Astros settle for a run on 2 hits and leave a man through 5. It's 2-1 Toronto. Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. Check out that little snack, Plummer. Mid-game snack for you.
So that's going to lead to some issues, but the process will be worth it.
2-1 ball game. Here's Devin Travis bunting. Fires coming over, bare hands, and didn't make a throw. Travis has a bunt single leading off the 6th inning. Hit number 4 for the Blue Jays.
This will be a good look at it. See where the runner is on the grass on the infield. And I wonder if that's why Fiers held up. In him holding up, that is a legal play. But if he throws that ball and smokes Travis right in the back, you might have an argument to have him running out of the baseline.
You would have a very strong argument that he ran out of the baseline. But what it usually takes to get that call is exactly what you suggested, hitting him in the back with the throw. He's aboard, and he's 3 for 4 in steals. Bautista's 0 for 2. Showing bunt. Strike 1 to Joey Bats. James Hoyt is warming up for the Astros. He made his major league debut last night. Outside for ball 1. 1-1 with Donaldson on deck as Hoyt gets loose. James pitched a hitless, scoreless inning last night. Threw 22 pitches in that game. Now 2-1. Quite a homestand with his debut, and Joe Musgrove. And then the outstanding relief effort also by Chris Davinsky on this homestand. There have been some bullpen exciting moments. Ground ball third, Bregman to second, Altuve to first, double play. The throw is a bit to the outfield side, but nonetheless 5-4-3.
A little help from your friends, and you got it right there. Even with the broken bat, the ball still hit pretty well to Alex Bregman at third base. Put himself in good position to keep that ball right in the center of his body. And Altuve, doesn't matter, just get it in the vicinity. Takes a step back, which is great to see as he gets to the bag early and adjusts to the throw from the third baseman. That is a salty veteran second baseman, much appreciated by Mike Fiers.
Now Fiers gets to go back to the windup against Josh Donaldson, and that could be meaningful. Donaldson's 0 for 2 with an RBI on a ground out in the first inning.
And getting to face Donaldson with nobody on is a beautiful thing too.
Mentioned Altuve getting to the bag early. That presents that nice target for the third baseman for the throw. Big curveball, 1-1. It also allows Altuve time to adjust if the throw is not perfect, because he's already there and set up early.
He's gotten so much better defensively.
Liner past a lunging Bregman into left field. Donaldson's aboard, and he's 1 for 3. 5 hits now for the Jays, with Encarnacion following. Jays with those back-to-back World Series appearances in '92, '93 would love to take it that far again this season. They were close last year. Encarnacion is 0 for 2. Kansas City came up with the magic. Wouldn't have taken a whole lot of different happenings for these two teams to be playing in the ALCS last year.
That is very true.
Popped up. Tyler White might have run. 1-1. Gentlemen Chapman down there tried to catch it in his cap, and that did not work out.
Need some early work. There's a kid that's under club control for what, another 12, 13 years?
Yeah, he's part of the youth movement. OPS of 1,042 for that youngster.
Solid start.
Cute little guy. Who cares if he can hit or not? Another towering pop. This one will be in play. Tyler White up the line for the grab. And closing in on 100 pitches. Fire works a scoreless 6th inning on 2 hits for Mike Fiers. It's 2-1 Blue Jays.
Here's Ventura, RBI single in the first. Watch out. Look at this. Bobbin took exception to the pitch and went after Nolan Ryan.
That was great. Little stop motion reenactment. This is the anniversary of this brawl right here.
Yeah.
My goodness. That was great.
Ball 1 to George Springer. Pat Neshek warming up for the Astros. Springer has struck out both times tonight. 2-1 Toronto. Who was that? Gumby? 2 ball or Mr. Bill maybe. 2 balls and no strikes.
Nothing like a good claymation fight, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Fires close to 100 pitches, so Neshek is getting loose. It's 3-0 as Springer tries to get aboard. George has walked 57 times this year. The Astros certainly would take a leadoff walk down by 1. With Bregman and Altuve to follow. That's ball 4. 4 straight to Springer. Had not walked anybody through the first 5. So this is August 4th, 1993. Mr. Bill, Mr. Bill, no!
Look at this.
Oh my gosh, that is classic.
That is beautiful. We'll be presenting all of our highlights in that fashion for the rest of the year. Alex Bregman has lined to second, fly to center field. Donaldson's in tight at third. Down and in. That's 5 straight balls from Jay Happ. Seems to be a little out of whack suddenly, although the Astros did get some good swings against him last inning with the 2 doubles. Russell Martin is out to try to help with Happ. 208 first time through, then it goes up to 235 and to 254. Still very manageable for the season. He's allowed a batting average of 232. That is excellent. Last time out, he struck out 11 in 7 innings in beating Baltimore, gave up 3 hits and 1 run. Bregman takes, and it's another ball. Springer started and stopped. Getting back to first. 2-0. Texas beat Baltimore 5-3. Here's his one.
Hesitated a little bit. Saw it shot way out in front. Might have had an opportunity, but I think a good decision to shut it down. Don't want to run yourself into an out. Again.
As difficult as it has been for the Astros to get base runners, absolutely not. Over shortstop into left center. Springer will stop at second on the single by Bregman. Throw behind him, and he dives back in. Upton threw behind him, but George was wise to it. And Bregman has snapped an 0 for 15. He is now 2 for 35 as a major leaguer.
All right, release the hounds. Let's go, boys. Back-to-back base runners on a walk and a base hit. 2-0 count. Bregman does a good job. Nice, easy, doesn't try to do too much. Just punch it out there and keep the train moving.
Hit number 4 for Houston. Altuve bats. Altuve has hit the first pitch both times. Fly ball to right, fly ball to center. Ball 1 to Jose. One of the big decisions last night for John Gibbons was the decision to pitch to Altuve in the 8th inning with first base open. 1 out and runners at second and third. It worked out. He hit a shallow fly ball to right field against Joe Biagini. 2-0 now. And Martin seemed to be a little surprised by that pitch. Might have been crossed up, but he caught it in unusual fashion. First 5 innings, Happ threw only 21 balls. This inning, he's thrown 8 balls. And he lets that one go for a 3-0 count. So Happ clearly does not have that effective delivery here in this inning. Has struggled, and he's thrown only 1 strike in this frame for John Gibbons.
And we've seen Altuve get the green light 3-0. Obviously a great hitter. Good time for him to hit because Jay doesn't want to load this thing up.
He did go on 3-0 and fouled it out of play with Danny Barnes now warming up for Toronto.
Tell you what, I'd like to see a nice double in one of the gaps. Watch Alex Bregman run and score all the way from first. That'd be fun to watch.
Scenario you're painting there. And that Rangers 5-3 win at Baltimore. A.J. Griffin got the victory, giving up 3 runs in 5 2/3. Sam Dyson got his 23rd save. Home run by Lucroy. Another foul ball now makes the count 3-2. Altuve's hitting .337 with runners in scoring position. The Astros as a team are at .247 runners in scoring position. Fly ball goes out to Pilar. Springer will tag. So will Bregman. There's the catch. The throw goes into second. Springer gets to third. 1 out for Correa. Now Pilar wisely throwing into second keeps the double play in order.
Yeah, that was no chance to get George Springer going to third, but make sure you keep that double play in order because Jay Happ's actually had quite a few double plays turned behind him. 16 double plays turned this season behind him, 4th in the American League.
Correa has bounced into 6 double plays. 0 for 2 in this game. He's hit the ball in the air on a line to right field and on the ground to third base. But he's the guy the Astros want at the plate, and Altuve is another one in this kind of a situation. Correa struck out looking on a questionable call in the 8th inning last night with runners at second and third in Toronto's 3-1 win. He looks at strike one. Carlos is hitting .289 with men in scoring position. Evan Gattis on deck. Good cut, and he fouls it. It's 0-2. Wade Miley, the newcomer for Baltimore, took that loss at the hands of the Rangers tonight. He gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. Mark Trumbo hit his 31st homer. Pedro Alvarez, number 16. 1-2. Foul back, and Correa continues to battle here. And it stays at 1-2. Correa is 3rd in the American League in runs batted in his last 37 games since June 20th. Only Albert Pujols and Max Kepler have driven in more. Kepler has just really been on an unbelievable roll the last 3 weeks. Bouncer short. Double play ball. There's 1 and 2. No runs, 1 hit. We may get a review here at first. And we'll wait to see if the Astros video room thinks it's worth a challenge on that decision at first. Bench coach Trey Hillman is hearing about it from the video room. They're not going to challenge. After 6, it's 2-1.
One over the Houston Astros, and Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. The bullpen, these are major league ranks since May 1st. 19 wins is first, 2.59 ERA is first, 21 home runs allowed fewest, 64 walks is the fewest, and 310 punch-outs. That is number one in all of Major League Baseball since May 1st. That bullpen has been getting it done, and believe it or not, it seems like they're getting a little bit stronger with some of these youngsters they've moved into that bullpen.
They really are. Pat Neshek has been one of the mainstays, of course, in 40 games, a 2-2 record, a 2.53 ERA, a whip below 1. Been on a nice run since June 20th. Russell Martin takes strike one. 7th inning underway. Mike Fiers went the first 6, allowing 5 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts, throwing 98 pitches, 65 for strikes. Good night for Mike Fiers. Correa to his left. Sings a throw over to Tyler White. 1 out. The Astros had a promising start to that 6th inning, but then Happ got tough. He got Altuve on a fly ball and Correa on a double play ball. Joaquin Benoit is warming up now for Toronto as Melvin Upton Jr. comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Neshek retired both men he faced Monday against the Blue Jays. He needed only 6 pitches in that one. Tap to short. Correa lays back on it. Makes the strong throw. 2 outs.
The Astros play the Rangers tomorrow through Sunday at Minute Maid Park. Get your tickets today for one of the biggest series of the year by visiting Astros.com or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
We're going to take a look at the reaction for that little video. They liked it.
Yeah, the response has been great.
Now they want more. That's the problem.
I think they want Eschenfelder and Stanton to do all the post-game highlights in stop motion.
How about if they reenact them?
That'd be even better. I'd pay a little bit extra to see that.
Ball 1 to Tulowitzki. He's 1 for 2. Well, they could set up on the field, run out there, and reenact the plays.
Yeah.
1-1.
Got to do it in full uni.
Has that ever been done before?
Not sure.
We might have a first on Root Sports. Kevin could slide into third base in his coat and tie.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Foul back, and it's 1-2. Martin Perez and Dallas Keuchel tomorrow night. Lucas Harrell and Doug Fister Saturday night. Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove Sunday. Rangers, Astros, be here.
It's mandatory, isn't it?
It is mandatory. You need a slip from the teacher if you're not here. 6:30 for Astros pregame show live. Keuchel and Perez tomorrow night at 7:10. That's a strike to Tulowitzki. He is just completely confused on a 7-pitch inning for Neshek. 2-1.
Jays lead the Astros 2-1. Hey, if you're looking for something fun to do after the game Saturday night, come hang out at the 5-7 Grill for the Astros after party presented by Budweiser. For more information, go to astros.com/afterparty or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Hopefully at the after party, they're celebrating a win over the Rangers. That would make it even more fun. You know, here's some of the response to the, what is that, claymation, whatever this is. Somebody called it Nolan in a knockout, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In this version, he didn't get the glove off, but in the real life version, boy, did he get that glove off in a hurry and do some damage. All these years later, guys, I still don't know what Robin Ventura was thinking.
Well, you could tell in that footage when he got about halfway out there to the mound, he was having some serious second thoughts. Right there, right there.
Yeah, what am I doing out here? What am I doing?
What's great is that Robin Ventura got ejected. Nolan Ryan stayed in the game. So, I mean, it's just insult to injury, too.
Yeah. Joaquin Benoit's in the game facing Evan Gattis, who doubled and scored. And that's in tight, ball one. Jay Happ leaving after 6 innings, allowing 4 hits, 1 run. Benoit's 1-1. His ERA 4.45. Coming in a deal from Seattle for Drew Storen. Astros have set a new strikeout record for 1 series tonight. Tap foul. 1-1. The strikeout by Neshek on Tulowitzki was number 8 of the night. And the Astros have 58 strikeouts in this series. Their previous high for a series was in a 5-game series in '95 against San Diego, 57.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Gattis fouls it back. 1-2. Well, that's one way to save on air conditioning in the building. Let the players provide it. So the Astros have struck out 40 times in this series. 58 for Toronto. Towering pop. Tulowitzki. 1 out. So Happ is in line for win number 15 of the year. If he gets it, he's 15-3. So that is 98 total strikeouts, Plummer. Can you imagine? There are going to be 100 strikeouts here in a 4-game series between these two clubs.
Young hitters turn away. Tell you what, if you started out this series with a drinking game on strikeouts, you're not in good shape.
Pinch hitter Marwin Gonzalez, 257, 10 homers, 28 runs batted in, career high 13-game hitting streak. He's batting for Carlos Gomez, who was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And now that he can bat left-handed with the right-hander Benoit in, he comes off the bench and takes ball 1. It's the right hand that's been sore for Marwin, and it bothers him more when he's batting right-handed, although the plan is for him to bat right-handed tomorrow night. The plan is for him to start against the lefty for the Rangers, Martin Perez. Benoit throws, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. This is the 4th outing this year for Benoit against the Astros, and he has an ERA of 0 for 2 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 hit. He appeared in the 14-inning game Monday night. Ground ball to second on 2 hops to Travis. 2 outs. Well, Toronto has found a successful right-hander joining their bullpen. He's 39 years old. Benoit has held opponents to 1 hit in 15 at-bats since he put on a Blue Jay uniform.
Not too bad. Veteran still has good velocity, averaging around 94, but he's always had that good heavy sinker.
Colby Rasmus is 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly ball. Infielders shift around with Travis in right field. Colby laying off, looks at ball 1, trying to snap an 0 for 22 right now. 1-1. Well, the word is just in, Blummer. You and I have been reassigned to the claymation department for the rest of the year.
All right. We're on it. Hope my arthritis doesn't kick in. That's going to be tough.
Rasmus takes it's 2-1. Daphne Baker wants to know, as Doug Pfister and his wife, have they had their baby yet? No, we haven't heard anything about them. Fly ball out to center. Pilar waits. Benoit has a 1-2-3 7th. It's 2-1 Toronto. Her wish is a Springer dinger. Well, that's about everybody's wish who's watching from the Astros side. 2-1, 23,190 the paid attendance. Will Harris has come out of the Houston bullpen to pitch the 8th inning. Matt Neshek had a 1-2-3 7th with a strikeout. Harris has a 2.08 ERA.
Last time out there, he blew a save on the 1st of August. Threw 22 pitches in that appearance, and we've got a change in the closer position.
Justin Smoke has 2 strikeouts, 0 for 2 in this game. Yeah, it may change back. You never know. There's strike 1. For one reason, we know that Ken Giles and his wife are expecting a baby pretty soon. Line drive left field. That's a fair ball, and it kicks into the stands for a double. Smoke with a leadoff 2-base hit here in the 8th inning.
Up and away. I think that even surprised Smoke. Ball stayed fair. The ball boy with, wow, valiant effort to get out of the way.
Very good effort to get out of the way.
Getting some help from the fans.
He did exactly that. Held onto the stool and everything.
Skill.
Now Pilar, the Astros expect a bunt from the number 9 hitter. He's popped a second twice. Not bunting. He fouls it. Strike 1.
Good job by Jerry getting out of the way too. My gosh.
That's Jerry?
I don't know if that's Jerry. Thought
Okay.
it was at first glance.
Okay.
A little more athletic than Jerry.
You were just thinking of Jerry Blancas. 0-2. Toronto now has 6 hits in this game. Travis is on deck. Ground ball, Altuve. He'll throw to third, and the tag by Bregman. They get him. Big play. Big play. I didn't think Altuve would try that. That's a risky play, but boy, did he make a perfect throw.
High risk, high reward. Yeah, you don't see that too often, but Altuve kind of in that alternate shift, playing a little bit shallower than he normally does in his regular second base position, opts to get the slow running first baseman Justin Smoak. And you got to give Bregman a little bit of credit too. Not an everyday third baseman, able to get over there and provide a good target and put the tag on him. Gutsy.
Very. Just a perfect throw. Nice tag. Now Travis with a fly ball out of play. There's strike one. I don't know if very many second basemen in this game try to make that play, Blummer.
No. Very few. And the thing about making plays like that too is you've got to have it in your mind before the play happens, because that is not an instinctual play.
Throw down is not in time on the steal. It's a swing for Travis, and a stolen base there for Pilar, his 9th of the year. The count goes to 0-2. Now 0-2 the count on the leadoff man with Bautista on deck. Foul ball keeps the count right where it is. Houston bullpen has the lowest bullpen ERA in the American League right now. We have more artwork.
Literally, somebody got inked up over that fight.
Is that a roping calf? Up the right field line. That's fouling out of play. Still 0-2 on Travis. Well, as you know, Luke Gregerson starting the season was the closer. Then Will Harris was in that spot. He's 11-14 in saves. Still will get a lot of important assignments like this one, whether he's closing or not. For those guys in his situation, this is pretty common actually in baseball today. The guy who was closing is now a setup man. That requires that mental shift. You're no longer pitching in those save situations, but it's really still very important.
Oh, this is a very important arm in the Astros bullpen. Has been for the last 2 years. Claimed off waivers. He's done a great job. Had the opportunity to do some closing. Did a relatively good job. And again, like you said, depending on how things pan out, or if Ken Giles has thrown too many pitches the night before, he can still find himself in that closing situation.
Exactly. He checked his swing. The appeal went down to Ryan Blackney, who ruled that he did not go.
It's close.
One of those that could go either way. Good block by Gattis. Here's the runner going to third, and the throw. Yeah, he overslid the bag. He wants a challenge. Pilar shaking his head at the call by Bill Miller, and he wants this one challenged at third base. He's called out. John Gibbons is out on the field, gesturing to the umpire. Home plate.
We'll get a look at it right here. Good job by Gattis keeping that ball in front, popping out of there, giving a good strong throw. Tough angle right there to see it, but Bill Miller, the third base umpire, right on it. That leg out in front. Pilar, may have snuck that hand in there. That was close.
Manager's review. And they're on the headsets to New York. The pitch was ball 3, so the count 3-2. But is there a runner at third, or is there not a runner at all? That's the question here. Big call involving that third base play. It did appear on that last look that he was in there.
see Pilar had his hand on the foot of Bregman. Just not sure if he had the glove on him while that hand was off the base.
Never did really come off the base once he got on, but apparently the key point is, was he tagged before he got on? The call came a little bit late, as if he had overslid, but it might have been just the umpire waiting to make sure before he demonstrated it.
Again, is there enough to turn that thing over?
Right, because
tough.
if there's not, then it stands and it's an out.
It's a great Supermo look at it. See Pilar trying to figure it out. Tried to go on the inside. Had the hand on there. Did he get the elbow right there before that hand gets on there?
Okay. Didn't see that. Yeah, it might involve tagging the elbow.
That is tough.
Well, you couldn't say from watching that replay that you were sure, right?
Yeah, definitive. Yeah, there was nothing to overturn that for me.
Safe. It is overturned. Pilar has taken third base. I believe the ruling will be wild pitch, and the count is 3-2. Gibbons wins the manager's challenge. That'll bring the infield in now. 3-2 count, 1 out. Line shot off Altuve's glove on through into center field, and it's 3-1. That's why it was such a big call at third base, and Travis turns it into run number 3 with his 3rd hit of the night. That's his 27th run batted in.
Good piece of hitting. Tough as an infielder when you're playing on the infield grass and a ball hit that hard.
Bautista is 0 for 3. Line, and Marisnick is there in center for the play. 2 down.
It's a good look at Altuve and reacting in the background. Ball just hit too hard. He's thoroughly annoyed with himself, giving max effort every time. Knows how important every run is in this series.
Bet he does. 7 hits now for Toronto. Josh Donaldson has one of those. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI tonight. Shift is on as the throw goes to first. In Anaheim, they're in the bottom of the 8th. Athletics 6, Angels 6. In Atlanta, they're in the 7th inning. Pirates 1, Braves 1. Ball 1 to Donaldson. Dodgers lead at Colorado 4-2. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Had to be tough news for that Dodger club that Clayton Kershaw is now on the 60-day disabled list. Couldn't be activated until late August, if then. Foul ball on the curve, and it's 1-1 on Donaldson. Red Sox and Mariners just underway.
That Kershaw news for me was borderline devastating for those guys. Losing him for that long.
Yeah, even if he's able to come back in September, he'd have to be stretched out. And then the playoffs, of course, would be about a month away. Donaldson's hitting .354 in 27 career games in this ballpark. The Astros have White, Marisnick, and Springer due up in the bottom of the inning. Struck in. Oh no, that's strike 2. 1 and 2 on Donaldson. Really chased upstairs there. It's a very aggressive hitter. And yet he has 70 walks and 80 strikeouts. That's a terrific balance. But when he swings, he lets it fly. Runner going, and he starts, and he did swing and struck out. He disputes that Todd Tichenor call. It's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left. 3-1 Toronto.
our Chevy Stroh poll for tonight. We asked you, how would you handle a star rookie struggling at the plate? 39% of you said play him every day, with send him to the minors coming in second, platoon him third, and bench him coming in dead last. It's a pretty solid strategy, especially for A.J. Hinch tonight. Tyler White with a real nice night so far with a couple of hits, and Alex Bregman also with a hit. So A.J. told us before the game today, you know, these guys have to play to swing their way out of some of these slumps. And he was hoping that Bregman wouldn't carry, you know, the negative baggage, he called it, into tonight's game. And it looks like he has not done that. He looks much more comfortable tonight, and he continues to play a solid third base, guys.
Things are going well for him now. White, up for the third time in this game, will be facing Jason Grilli. Joaquin Benoit had a 1-2-3 7th inning. Grilli, who got a save last night, has 10 holds, a 4-3 record, a 3.58 ERA, a whip of 1.27. He has a 2.18 ERA in 21 games since he joined Toronto from Atlanta. His ERA with the Braves was 5.29. Breaking pitch in for strike one on White, who singled to right and doubled to left. 3-7-0 for the Blue Jays, 1-4-0 for the Astros. Each club has stranded 3. One and one. So in Grilli, when the Blue Jays made this acquisition, Blummer, they got an experienced 39-year-old late inning setup guy. Same thing can be said about Benoit. Grilli, though, has closed quite a bit, and they have a very young closer, Osuna. But these veteran guys might really be able to help him out, not only in setting him up, but maybe just handling the whole mentality of being that 9th inning guy.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of that involved. A lot of the conversations that happen out there in the bullpens will be between some of these veterans and the younger guys. But again, too, you also might look at them as a security blanket, because you talked about the experience Grilli has in the back end of that bullpen. If Osuna has a little bit of a hiccup and they need to give him a couple days off, you've got Benoit and Grilli, who have been in that position before, to maybe pick him up a little bit.
3-1 now. James Hoyt again is warming up for the Astros. He was a few innings ago as well. There's Hoyt. Made his debut last night. Pete Walker is the Toronto pitching coach. We had a shot of him a moment ago. Towering pop. Martin off with a mask. Ooh, now it may have hit one of the rafters up there. It's called a foul ball, so not in play anymore. If it hits the now Josh Donaldson is he's being told the ground rule.
Yeah, I was going to say that's you know, you come into these ballparks, especially Minute Maid Park, and these roofs that come into play. As a player, you're not reading the back of the scorecard that's handed out before the games that has the ground rules on it. Although John Gibbons is out there talking about it too. Are you sure it hit the ceiling? And you can see the reaction from Russell Martin is, yes, it did. Great play. Give him credit on that.
Yeah, they want that out. He caught it. If it had been a fair ball, yes, it would count. The ball is in play, but not on a foul ball.
That's really something you don't see all that often here at Minute Maid.
No. Tyler White gets another swing with a 3-2 count. Struck him out. That is the 100th strikeout in this 4-game series. Numbers at AAA. A.J. Reed, 291, 924 OPS. Bregman, an OPS of 1,015. Tucker, 512 slugging, 301 average. White, 288 average, 935 OPS. How difficult is it going to be now to project these AAA numbers to Major League status due to the struggles all 4 of these guys have had at the Major League level?
These guys got to the big leagues fast. Normally you have guys that come up through the ranks through the minor leagues, getting full seasons of at-bats at each level before they get here. Those guys are exceptional talents, earn their way in promotion and getting here, and they've been successful every step of the way. They haven't struggled until they've gotten to the big leagues, and now they're trying to make adjustments against big league pitching. That is not easy to do for a regular big league player. So these guys, as good as they are and as much as they've earned the opportunity to be here, this is really the first adversity some of these guys have ever really faced, and now they're doing it against opposing pitchers who have recognized weakness is and are going to attack it until they make the adjustment and start turning that adjustment around.
And to make it even more difficult, they're on a club that is struggling right now to score runs. And many of the veterans who are also in that lineup are struggling the same way they are.
Yeah, and the numbers are going to be exaggerated. It's much like starting a season with a slump. The numbers are going to be small until you get a larger sample size and get things going a little bit. But in talking about those veterans are going to help you out as much as they can, but they've got their own problems like you're talking about. So I think each guy, and what you learn as a major leaguer, is each time you step in the box, as much as you're trying to get a base hit for the team like Jake just did, those are your at-bats. Those guys aren't in the box with you. They're cheering you on and doing as much as they can, but you are responsible for your own adjustments and your own at-bats, and take them personally.
Good swing by Marisnick. Hit number 5 for Houston. He's aboard for George Springer. Is 0 for 2 with a walk. Marisnick has been showing some signs. He had a double last night. Since the beginning of July, Marisnick's hit .327. Now, is it time for the birthday present?
Ooh, that'd be nice.
The Springer dinger for the 8th birthday. Broken bat, caught. Travis to first, double play. A 4-3 double play to end the 8th inning and send this 3-1 game to the 9th. Nothing too high. By Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box for a limited time only at participating restaurants. Looking Texas flag right there. And they are ready for a big 9th inning. And I hope to have a quiet top of the 9th inning. And then do some celebrating. Here's James Hoyt, who made that major league debut last night. He warmed up a few innings ago, and then again as he came from Atlanta in the 5-player trade with Gaddis. 45 games at Fresno. He led the league in saves. Good debut last night, Blummer.
Really was good command, and we've seen some of these rookies for the Houston Astros really contributing early and often, getting some punch outs. But what I like to see is these guys, even though that Hoyt is 29 years old, coming out there showing good poise and good command of his pitches.
Edwin Encarnacion looks at strike one. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Martin and Upton to follow. Roberto Osuna, the closer for Toronto, is warming up. Fly ball left field. Rasmus checking the wall. He is backing off, and that one reached the seats. Encarnacion hits number 30, and it's 4-1 Toronto. For Encarnacion, another milestone homer. Another 30 home run season. That's his 5th straight.
Ball wasn't annihilated. Looked like it was off the end of the bat of Encarnacion, but enough to get it up into that Crawford box.
'91 runs batted in for the major league leader. Now Russell Martin takes strike one. Martin is 1 for 3. Encarnacion hits the 7th solo home run in this series for the Blue Jays, and their last 13 homers have all been solo shots. 0-2. 156 long balls for Toronto this season, 2nd in the American League. Bouncing up there for a ball from Hoyt. 1-2. Will Harrison 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and 1 run. He had 1 strikeout, no walks. The Astros have not walked anybody tonight. And there was only 1 walk by Jay Happ. That's the only one in the game. Houston will have Bregman, Altuve, Correa due up in the home 9th inning. Martin strikes out.
Good job bouncing back, and this weekend paid tribute to the 1986 Houston Astros during Legends Weekend, presented by Houston Methodist. 10,000 fans will receive a Mike Scott 1986 replica rainbow jersey. For more information, visit astros.com/legendsweekend or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Should be a good time filled with good stories and good guys.
Phil Garner's going to be here. There's a strike to Upton. Melvin's 0 for 3 in this game. Yeah, a lot of the favorites will be here to mingle with the fans on Saturday before the game. One ball, 1 strike. Colin McHugh is going to join us at the Texas Italian American Sports Foundation luncheon Saturday at noon across town at Damien's. Give out some scholarships to kids. 2 balls and a strike. So Saturday's quite a busy day. And then Sunday, time to leave town again. All along, this looked like a hugely important homestand, Blummer.
This is a big one. A lot going on leading into this series at home. Trade deadline.
Yeah.
Players getting called up. Very good teams in town.
It's been a little crazy, hasn't it, with all those moves you're talking about, the disabled list moves, and all the strikeouts in this series getting all the attention.
Yeah, we have not been talking much about the offense.
Struck him out. 2 of those after the homer by Encarnacion. Tulowitzki will follow. He's 1 for 3. For Hoyt, it's been quite a long road to make his major league debut at age 29 last night. Was not drafted after going to Centenary College in Louisiana. Took a shot at independent ball. He had a tryout for an independent team managed by Jose Canseco in California. There were going to be 70 pitchers trying out. So he went home for about an hour and came back. And they were at about number 60 at that point. So he did get to throw. And based on that, he wound up signing.
You got to love baseball if you're going to play for a team managed by Jose Canseco.
Just a crazy thought, but wonder if someday 20, 30 years from now, Yasiel Puig will be managing a team somewhere.
Oh boy.
Wouldn't that be a crazy bunch?
That would be electric.
2-0. In for a strike. Yulieski Gurriel is currently at Lancaster. He had 3 hits last night, including a double and an RBI in his Jethawks debut on Monday. And he'll be moving in a few days to AA Corpus Christi. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He could be making his Astros debut in that 2-game series here with St. Louis in the middle of August, after the road trip coming up starting Monday. Three balls, 2 strikes. Gurriel drove in a run tonight, we're told by our producer Carl Patterson. He doesn't have a hit, but picked up an RBI in that game. He hasn't played competitively since February, right?
Yeah, that's the toughest part. You know, getting the rhythm of the game, get that timing back.
Bregman, long throw across from foul ground, and he does it beautifully. The home run by Encarnacion puts him in the 30 home run club again. Bregman ends the inning with excellent glove work, but the Astros trail 4-1 in the ninth.
Trail it 4-1. Time for our Geico quote of the day, and it comes from the late great Leo Durocher, who once said, "Baseball is like church. Many attend, few understand." Amen to that. And I'm sure AJ Hinch can relate to those words a little bit tonight, guys.
Leo, when he was managing with the Cubs, came to the Astrodome, and in a fit of pique, he ripped the telephone off the wall in the dugout, and he was sent a bill for that damage. Roberto Osuna is 23 for 25 in saves. Good-looking young Cuban right-hander who's only 21, Blummer.
Yeah, very good right-handed pitcher. Been a solid addition to that back end of that bullpen. You can see those 23 saves out of 25 attempts. Average velocity on the fastball is right at 96 miles an hour. Also has a changeup. We saw a good cutter from him the other night. Also has a little bit bigger version of that cutter. It's called a slider.
He's one of the hot hands. He has not given up a run in his last 14 outings, covering 13 2/3 innings. The batting average against him in that stretch, 109. Alex Bregman takes strike one. Bregman singled in the 6th inning. He lined out with a good swing to second in the first. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Jose Altuve on deck. Carlos Correa to follow. That bounces in. It's 1-1. You mentioned Osuna, and he did pitch that scoreless inning on Monday night in the 14-inning affair. Gave up a hit to Jake Marisnick. Save situation here for the young closer. He had 20 saves last year for the Blue Jays. 2-1. Jason Grilli in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had a strikeout. Jay Happ could be a 15-game winner very soon. Bregman takes, and it's 3-1. I saw an article about him today. His hitting had been analyzed in the article. basic statement was that he hasn't been doing much with high fastballs. Maybe some of those would be balls if he didn't swing. That's ball 4, and Bregman works the leadoff walk. But guys come to the big leagues and they want to hit.
Yeah, and that's typically what young hitters do, is they come up here and they're hyper aggressive, trying to prove their worth and prove that they belong here at the major league level. Sometimes opposing pitchers can play off that aggression too and elevate or expand out of the zone and have them chase.
Altuve is 0 for 3 tonight. Well, his expressions, and we saw it on that replay of that RBI single off his glove, they just tell you what the team is doing, don't they? Bounces that one foul, strike 1.
There's almost frustration and disbelief all at the same time from Altuve.
That's called strike 2. He's not really too happy about some of these calls in this series.
Yeah, it was a ball. It was a ball, and then that's way off the plate.
Altuve strikes out. 1 out.
Well, that's a problem when you get those calls on the outside corner. Because you force guys who know the zone pretty well, and they understand that that's the limit. They are forced to chase out there. Smart pitching by Osuna.
Yeah. Correa is 0 for 3. Fouls it back, strike 1. Well, we're told on Twitter that that nice scene we've been showing you, that form of animation is stop action. It's simpler than claymation. No play to remold each shot, so we get off easy.
It's way above my pay grade, Brian.
Oh, balls, 2 strikes.
And my talent level.
Well, if we tried to recreate something like that, it would be far above our talent level. Check that out.
This might be a good idea for a bobblehead. Treating Robin Ventura like a bobblehead.
I hadn't seen that one before. Yeah, he bobbled a little bit. 1 and 2. Correa takes a close one. That's called ball 2. Osuna, mentioned, is 21. He pitched in the Mexican League at age 15. Had Tommy John surgery in 2013. Bounce wide of third base. Still 2-2 to Correa. So if Correa gets on, Gaddis comes up and he can tie it with a big swing.
It's been known to happen in this ballpark.
Well, he has that everyday reminder of that event we saw earlier.
Immortalized.
Just looked at the left knee of Osuna there in his delivery. He does a little bit of a Japanese pause there. Familiar in that league when he gets up to the top of that left knee, Blummer.
Be interesting to see him do that. It's kind of crazy that Bregman hasn't made the decision to take off with that hesitation.
Good point. He didn't do it that time. Struck him out looking. 2 outs.
I'm feeling this location is not going to make Astro fans happy.
No, because it's a recurring theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You hate to, can't put it all on the umpires, but there have been a plethora of calls that have been well off the plate this entire series.
Evan Gattis 1 for 3, a double. Fouls it back, strike one. Brand new series starting tomorrow night at 7:10. Dallas Keuchel and Martin Perez in a matchup of lefties. Saturday at 6:10, it's Doug Fister and Lucas Harrell. Sunday at 1:10, Joe Musgrove opposes Yu Darvish. In for a strike, and it's 0-2. Astros again tonight have been held to 1 run. If this is it, they've scored 7 runs in the last 6 games. 1-2. They're trying to avoid their 8th loss in the last 10. Certainly everybody trying. They had optional hitting tonight, so AJ has tried various approaches. More work, less work, optional work. Bouncing. Ooh, that hurts. Ouch.
So you want to be a catcher. Putting every body part in the line of fire.
That's a shame. He came up. If he'd stayed down.
Oh,
hit
man.
Yeah, that's a straight shot.
I'm going to go take a walk.
Sometimes you wish you were playing cricket. There might be an ice bag on that upcoming flight. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Did I get the seat that is a block of ice?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, let's check. Martin wanted that to be the last pitch of the game. Instead, it's 3-2 now for Osuna. Marwin Gonzalez is on deck. Runner going. Popped up. Foul. Martin over the Astros bench. Reaching in. Oh, watch it. We talked about Tony Eusebio last night.
My goodness.
Almost, yeah. Trey Hillman caught him.
It's been a pretty exciting couple of pitches here for Russell Martin, giving it all his effort. We saw him sliding into the screen earlier in this ball game here, trying to go all out to get this win for the Toronto Blue Jays, and thank goodness for Trey Hillman. Could read AJ's lips saying it's out, it's out, it's out, trying to get Russell to slow down, but there's no slowing him down.
No, AJ over with a helping hand. Former catcher helping out. And it's a strikeout to end it. Osuna strikes out the side and ends a series with 105 total strikeouts. Toronto wins 3 out of 4, taking this one 4-1. Happ going to 15-3, fires the loser 7-5. Osuna getting save number 24 in 2 hours and 41 minutes. Toronto notches its 62nd win, and the final is 4-1 Blue Jays.